Lewis and Clark is a game that breathes. No, I don't mean in an artful, boring way. And yes, it is breathtaking, but what I mean is that its flow is all about expansion and contraction. You spend your turns deploying workers, playing cards, amassing a veritable smog pile of resources, then desperately use your remaining actions to spend them as quickly as possible so that you have no excess baggage at camp. The central thrust is that you are trying to be the first to make it past Fort Clatsop, and you do so by moving your explorer forward, then making camp, which brings your encampment to the explorer. The problem is that every card in hand, excess workers in your area, and even resources beyond a threshold moves your explorer back spaces before you can catch up to them. So the puzzle becomes, how do you use every part of the board game Buffalo? I love this subversion of your traditional board game sensibilities where more equals better. It works thematically in the context of an arduous expedition, but it also adds a cost to being too greedy. We're trained by every game ever to be greedy, and this game preys upon it. Card abilities can be amplified by cards in yours and your neighbor's field, so you'll sometimes be tempted to say, "Why yes, I'll take 12 wood," when you just might regret it. Better start spending them on boats with those American Indian workers. Okay, so here's the thing. The Native Americans in this game, in strictly game speak, are a resource, but they are also members of your crew that you'll recruit right alongside characters like Lewis and Clark themselves. This game has a reverence for the indigenous people of America, and the designers tried tackling it with a degree of sensitivity and concern that mostly comes off really well, but by nature of this being a Euro resource collection game, the meaning of the red American Indian meeples can start being lost as merely tools to be gathered and exploited. Thematically, they're supposed to represent the reliance of the expedition on trade, guidance, and support from the indigenous tribes throughout the land, but it's easy to lose perspective. But maybe that in itself is a form of commentary on the history of westward expansion. But speaking of history, never before has this era of American history been rendered so beautifully. I'm not joking when I say the combination of Vincent Dutrait's masterful portraits, the color palette of the components, and the overall graphic design make this one of the most beautiful games I've ever played. And the creators wanted to honor this era too, painstakingly imbuing personality into each individual character, then supplying historical context in the appendix right alongside the details of their actions. I really love this game. It's thoughtful, puzzling, and challenging, and I love the temptation of grabbing more, adding more characters to your hand, more resources to your boats, more boats to your convoy, and yes, when playing the Gather Indians action, taking as many Native American meeples as I can because surely they will be helpful, but then the desperation sinks in as I scheme how exactly I'm going to make use of them. When it pans out, you feel like a genius, and when it goes wrong, well, you can't help but laugh at how you made your own bed. That said, this game is absolutely best as a 2-player game. 3 is okay, but more than that is just a bad time. Only play higher player counts if you hate fun and think accounting software is a form of thrilling entertainment. While there are little bits of player interaction through shared workers and resource amplification, other players' turns are generally inconsequential to you. But if you want a gorgeous and highly thematic game with some totally original ideas on card play and worker placement accompanied by some hand management and even a touch of deck building, it's hard to beat Lewis and Clark. Plus, you can have a dog on your team, so basically 10 out of 10. If you enjoyed this video, we have all kinds of other reviews, interviews, and recommendations via writing, podcasts, and video here on our channel and website cardboardherald.com. Our content is audience supported, so if you want to show your support, please visit our Patreon. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the Cardboard Herald.